Welcome back to Market Fatafat, and let's keep it going with all the buzzers in trade right now. And on the technical front, we are being joined by Aamar Singh, and so let's go across and welcome Aamar. Very good afternoon, and thank you so much for your time, Aamar. Firstly, let's talk about the first counter, and that's from the metal pack, the sector of the day, that is National Aluminium. Aamar, tell us, how are you looking at this particular stock on the technical front? Seems like finally above that resistance of 210 levels. Tell us, what are the targets that you're looking out for? Aamar, if you can unmute and help us with your take.
Yes. So if we look at National Aluminium, we've seen that across the board, post the sharp rally in the Chinese markets, we've seen some very good traction in the metal stocks as well. And National Aluminium has been consolidating because it did rally towards 200 and then corrected all the way towards 160. Now it has taken out that 200 level, psychological level, and then the 210 level which you mentioned. So overall, if you look at National Aluminium on the charts, be it the long term or the short term, the trend continues to remain strong and positive. Now it needs to sustain above the 204, 205. That's an important level. Sustaining of that level, it has a potential to rally towards 225, 230 odd levels. And the stock has now got good support coming around the 200 level, which was earlier a key zone of resistance. So it is definitely gaining on the back of the rally which we are witnessing in the metal space.
All right, that is Nalco on the charts, buzzing away like all the metal counters are shining away in trade. But moving on to another buzzer in trade, IDFC First Bank. Now the bank has completed its merger with the IDFC Limited after it received all requisite shareholder and regulatory approvals. The merger will be effective from the 1st of October. Under the scheme of arrangement for the merger, investors will get 155 equity shares of the bank for every 100 shares held in IDFC Limited. Now the record date to determine the eligibility of such shareholders is fixed as October 10th, and the shares are expected to be credited to shareholders of IDFC on or before 31st of October. Now the merger of IDFC First with and IDFC is expected to simplify the corporate shareholding structure. Further, as a part of the merger, about 600 odd crore rupees of cash and cash equivalents are likely to flow into the bank. And on the back of that, IDFC First Bank is trading, has given up those morning gains, but it is currently trading with gains of 0.7%.
All right, that's about this banking name, but let's talk about BEL then, and Ansh, take us through what's happening here.
So the stock is in focus because the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has approved incorporation of BEL IAI Aerosystem Private Limited, a joint venture company between BEL and Israel Aerospace Industries Limited. Now, the objective here is to provide product support including repair and maintenance and related activities for medium-range surface-to-air missiles system deployed and used in India. Now, despite of this positive news, the stock is down by around 2% and has formed a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern, which usually indicates a bit of a bearish sign in the stock.
Alright then, that's about BEL and the news flow around, but another stock that is in focus is Lupin, because it's not a positive news flow coming in for Lupin because it's the Pithampur Unit 1 facility that has been issued observation by the US regulator, US FDA, where US FDA did inspect their Pithampur Unit 1 facility between 16th to 27th of September, and the inspection did close with 3 observations, each on the API as well as the finished product line. The details of this particular investigation, that how grave are they in terms of are there any issues related to the data integrity side of it, they are still awaited, but for now 3 observations have been issued to one of the key facilities, that is Pithampur unit of Lupin, and hence the reaction in the stock, which is down close to 1% in trade right now.
Alright, that is Lupin in focus today, and another counter that is in focus today is IndusInd Bank. Now, about IndusInd Bank, actually in the last 6 months it hasn't really moved much, and in fact this positive news flow, in fact the positive note by Goldman Sachs is also failing to have any impact on IndusInd Bank, but the note by Goldman Sachs says that they're maintaining a buy rating with a target price of 1,635 rupees. They feel that the board has reappointed the MD and CEO pending, of course, the RBI approval, but the development removes the near-term overhang of the the management change. Now, the bank is better positioned to manage its margins compared to its peers, and they expect the PPOP margins of 13% over FY24 to FY27 estimate. And the stock is trading at a substantial discount of 10-year average valuations. And on the back of that, they're maintaining a buy rating on the counter. But that is failing to give any bump up to IndusInd Bank. It is declining in trade with cuts of percent.
All right, that's about IndusInd Bank. But once again, let's talk about the pharma major, and that is Dr. Reddy's. Ansh, take us through what's happening here and what is the news flow around?
This company has made an investment of around $620 million in line with intimidation, and DRLSA, which is a company Switzerland unit, has allotted around 6.2 crore non-convertible preference shares, each with a nominal value of around $100 to the company. Also on chart, the stock has actually fallen down, and currently the stock had actually given a downfall of around 8% recently, but currently we are seeing that stock has given an up move of 4% as well, which shows some positive sign in the stock.
All right, coming to you, Aamar, NMDC is the name that you've picked out for us. Tell us, what are you seeing on the charts for NMDC? Now, this counter, in fact, today itself, it's buzzing with gains of over 4%. The last 6 months, 15% gains. But, in the last 1 month, it has given up. It has really started moving up. Tell us, what is the upside for this?
Yeah, if you look at NMDC again from the metal space, and if you look at this stock, the stock was in for consolidation. It did witness a significant rally towards hitting almost 285, 286 in the month of May. And from there, it corrected all the way down towards the 200 mark, 204 to be precise. So there was a decent correction in the stock, but the overall trend of the stock, if you look at from a long-term perspective, that continues to remain strong and positive. It did consolidate a lot between 200 and 220, 225 levels, or 230 levels, I would say 200 and 230. So that has been taken out, and over the last few trading sessions, specifically I would say last 5 to 6 trading sessions, the volumes have been significantly higher as compared to the average volumes over the last 20 to 30 trading sessions. Also, if you look at the intermediate term trend, we've seen the stock consolidate and move above the 230 level, which was earlier acting as a zone of resistance, and the stock is trading around the 244, 245 level. With the trend remaining strong and positive on the long term, short term also we are seeing a build up in momentum. So this is one stock one can keep a close watch on. Now the stock has got good support coming below the 220 levels. On the upside, the stock could rally towards the 275, 280 levels. So this is one stock one can keep a close watch on.
All right, that's about this metal counter. But moving on then, and Madhya Pradesh has revolutionized the pro-poor e-governance guided by Chief Minister Dr. Mohan Yadav, operating in all districts of Madhya Pradesh. Now, the Cyber Tehsil exemplifies the state government's commitment to providing a fully accountable and transparent governance. Here's a special report.
साइबर तहसील से हो रहा समाधान, सुशासन बना मध्य प्रदेश की पहचान। मध्य प्रदेश में साइबर तहसील नामक रेवेन्यू ई कोर्ट ने सुशासन की शानदार मिसाल पेश की है। इसने मार्च 2024 में राज्य में आंशिक खसरा वाली जमीन की खरीद बिक्री वाले मामलों में भी नामांतरण या दाखिल खारिज की पूरी प्रक्रिया को डिजिटल, पेपरलेस, फेसलेस और ऑनलाइन बना दिया है। साइबर तहसील का क्षेत्राधिकार राज्यव्यापी है। इससे आवेदक को 20 दिन में ही ईमेल या व्हाट्सएप पर घर बैठे ही डिजिटल नामांतरण आदेश मिल जाता है। इसने बीते 6 महीने में 1 लाख से ज्यादा खरीदारों को नामांतरण आदेश भेजे हैं।
मैंने अभी मेरी वाइफ के नाम से एक ज़मीन खरीदी धामन खेड़ा में, और उसका जो है वो नामांतरण जो मैंने आवेदन लगाया था ऑनलाइन में मुझे कोई समस्या नहीं हुई, मुझे तहसील के चक्कर लगाने नहीं पड़े। तो सरकार की बहुत अच्छी योजना है।
साइबर तहसील में आवेदक सिर्फ जमीन की रजिस्ट्री के वक्त संपदा पोर्टल पर ऑनलाइन रजिस्ट्रेशन करते हैं। इससे सारा प्रकरण फौरन एक और RCMS यानी रेवेन्यू केस मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम में, तो दूसरी ओर पटवारी के सारा यानी स्मार्ट एप्लीकेशन फॉर रेवेन्यू एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पोर्टल पर, और तीसरी ओर भूलेख के वेब GIS पोर्टल पर पहुंच जाता है। इस तरह चारों पोर्टल्स में समन्वय है।
अगर आपने अपनी खेती की रजिस्ट्रियां कराई तो पटवारी के आगे पीछे घूमने की जरूरत नहीं है। जैसे अपन ने दस्तावेज का पंजीयन कराया, पटवारी को अपने आप नामांतरण करना पड़ेगा या उसकी अपनी जरूरत है।
साइबर तहसील आवेदन की जांच के बाद खरीदने और बेचने वालों के अलावा तहसील, पंचायत, पटवारी और संबंधित गांव के तकरीबन 150 लोगों को SMS और वेब लिंक के साथ नोटिस भेजता है ताकि वो आपत्ति भेज सकें। अगले 10 दिन में यदि कोई आपत्ति नहीं मिली तो भूमि के नए मालिक को साइबर तहसीलदार ईमेल या WhatsApp से डिजिटल नामांतरण आदेश भेज देते हैं। इससे भूलेख पोर्टल पर खसरा और नक्शा भी अपडेट हो जाते हैं। लेकिन यदि आपत्ति मिली तो उसका 90 दिन में निराकरण करने के लिए मामला सीधे क्षेत्रीय तहसीलदार के पास पहुंच जाता है और फिर उसके फैसले के अनुसार नामांतरण होता है।
साइबर तहसील सरकार की तरफ से एक नया सुविधा आप लोगों को दी गई है, जिसके कारण मुझे ना तो तहसील के चक्कर लगाने पड़े, ना कोई आवेदन देना पड़ा, ना रजिस्ट्री की कोई कॉपी देना पड़ी, और ऑटोमेटिकली अपडेटेड खसरा और मेरा नामांतरण मेरे मोबाइल पे मुझे प्राप्त हो गया।
All right, with that, it's time for us to slip into a short break. But you don't go anywhere after the break. We are getting you a lot more stocks that are buzzing in trade. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Market Fatafat, where we are taking you through all the stocks that are buzzing on the back of news flow or on the back of technicals. And let's resume then with all the stocks that are in focus today. Varun Beverages stock that is in focus today, and that is on the back of an HSBC note that has come out. In fact, they have initiated a buy on Varun Beverages, and they've set the target price at 780 rupees. They feel that India's bottling race is likely to intensify. If they can become the largest and the most disruptive, player, in fact, PepsiCo bottler in history of PepsiCo that is what they're seeing for Varun Beverages. In fact, they can pick up speed, and the market share is also what HSBC feels. Disruptive digital market development models for driving sales. New AI tools and strategies are coming up for Indian markets from Varun Beverages, and on the back of that, they have initiated a buy on this counter. But currently, it has given up those morning spike that we saw in the morning. It has given up those gains, and it's currently trading pretty flattish with cuts of 0.1%.
All right, that's about Varun Beverages. But with this, viewers, let's move on and let's talk about one of the banking names, that is Bank of Baroda. That is indeed in focus on the back of a report coming in from Motilal Oswal. They continue maintaining a buy rating on this particular stock, and the target price that they have set is 290 rupees. That is around 17% hike even from the current market price. What they're highlighting is that the asset quality is quite steady, but they remain watchful on the pace of the deposit mobilization. They do clock earnings growth at a 10% CAGR. ROA is expected to be steady at 1.1%, and along with that, they're also highlighting that in the due course of time, the kind of a growth that they are seeing could be there, but with the intense competition for deposits, they do estimate that Bank of Baroda's deposit growth will remain likely and broadly in line with the system at 11%. They do estimate the advances growth to be moderate at 11.5% on a CAGR basis between FY24 and 27, led by RAM segments, thereby resulting in slight rise in the CD ratio to 81.6%. So on the back of this particular news report, Bank of Baroda is in focus, but key to highlight is that among all the banking names, and especially the components from the Bank Nifty, Bank of Baroda is one such counter that has fallen the least.
Absolutely, and that is Bank of Baroda. But moving on the technical side, Aamar, you picked up Century Textiles, another name that has done pretty well for itself. In fact, last 6 months, 65% gains. In fact, in the last 1 month also, it has given good moves of 20%. Tell us, what are you seeing on the charts for this one? How do you play this counter?
So, if we look at textile, I would say Century Textile, overall we've seen a very good rally in the textile space post the Bangladesh issue, which happened because Bangladesh being a major player in the textile space. So that really helped textile companies, and earlier also there was very good momentum in Century Textiles. And we've seen that continue, and the stock is up. If you look at for this quarter, it's up almost 22%. And if you look at the charts, we do witness some sort of consolidation because the stock had made a high of almost 29.36 on 16th of September, and from there it had corrected all the way towards 2700. So 2700 and 3000, that's the range for the stock with a positive bias, because the long-term charts as well as the intermediate-term charts, the momentum is not showing any signs of decline. So that effectively means is that any pullback is a buying opportunity. The stock needs to sustain above the 2900 level. Currently it's around 28, 30, somewhere around that level. So sustaining above 28, 80, 2900 is something which is important and crucial for any upside rally towards the 3000 mark. So this is one stock one can definitely keep a close watch on.
All right, that's the counter that Aamar is tracking, Century Textiles. But moving on, and let's talk about NHPC then. And Ansh, take us through what's happening here and what's the news flow around NHPC.
Company has actually signed a joint venture agreement with Andhra Pradesh Power Generation Corporation for incorporation of a joint venture company for implementation of pumped storage hydropower project and renewable energy projects in Andhra Pradesh. Now, in first phase, two projects, namely Yagni PSP and Rajupalam PSP, with installed capacity totaling to around 1800 megawatt, are considered for this joint implementation, and other projects subsequently identified in phase 2 as mutually agreed as well. But due to market pressure, the stock is trading slightly in red today.
All right, moving on from NHPC to Aamar, Jyothy Labs. Tell us, what do you see on the charts for this counter? In last 1 month, not much has moved on this counter. In fact, tell us where is this counter headed? I mean, is it moving towards this 52-week high now?
Yeah, so looking at Jyothy Labs, you rightly said that the stock has been in for consolidation, because on the upside, if you look, the stock traded as high as 595 and has a recent low as 525, but the stock has been consolidating for almost 6 to 8 weeks. Having said that, if you look at the stock on the charts, be it the intermediate term, that's a weekly trend, or the long-term trend, that continues to remain strong and positive. And what we are seeing is that today we've seen some very good move in the stock, almost close to 3% rally. And what we are seeing is that the stock seems to have formed a base around the 520, 525 level. Currently it's around 558 levels. So sustaining above the 550, because initially so this level 555, 560 something which is important and crucial for it. If it takes out that level, then the stock is headed higher towards 595, 600 levels, which was his earlier all-time high. So this is one stock one can keep a close watch on.
All right, moving on to the next counter, which is Federal Bank. A positive note coming on Federal Bank from Nomura. They are maintaining their buy with a target price of 240 rupees per share. Now, they feel that the Federal Bank is transitioning from value to a quality bank. In fact, Mr. Manian, who is the new MD of the bank, has an expertise and can significantly aid the bank's ROA profile. Now, also they feel that the bank has outperformed its peers on deposit and the asset quality, and it offers the highest earning yield amongst private banks. Now, the thrust on fee generation and on high yield products is likely to improve its NIMs, and the bank remains their top mid-cap bank idea for Nomura, and it's their top banking pick. And on the back of that, Federal Bank is buzzing away in trade right now, trading with gains of 2%.
All right, that's about Federal Bank, but let's also talk about Adani Enterprise and find out why this counter is in focus. And Ansh, take us through the details regarding Adani Enterprise.
Right, so April Moon Retail Private Limited, a joint venture company of Adani Airport Holdings, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of the company itself, has executed agreements with CocoCart Ventures Private Limited, which is a CVPL in short, and the existing shareholders of CVPL, namely Mr. Karun Ahuja and Mr. Arjun Ahuja, for acquisition of shares in this company to acquire around a 74% stake. The amount of acquisition is around 200 crore. In the morning, the stock was trading in green, but currently due to market pressure, the stock is trading around flat levels.
All right, with that we come to an end of Market Fatafat. To everyone, Ansh, Amar and earlier on Aditya, thank you so much for taking time out and joining us today. Shristi and I will take your leave. Thank you so much for tuning in, but don't go anywhere because Closing Trades is taking the market action forward.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.